Clean the bathroom properly, you useless little thing, and if it's not perfect, you'll go without dinner again. Those were the words I heard when I arrived at my son Michael's house unannounced. My granddaughter Maya, barely 6 years old, was sobbing as she held a rag bigger than her small hands. And the sons of Michael's wife, Aiden and Ethan, were laughing out loud from the sofa, watching television as if nothing was happening. In that moment, my blood ran cold because I had financed that house. I had put up every single dollar so my son could have a decent home, and he was using it to turn my granddaughter into a domestic slave while spoiling the children of his second wife. My name is Carol. I am 69 years old, and for decades, I believed that being a good mother meant staying quiet, enduring, and giving everything without asking for anything in return. I thought unconditional love meant swallowing my pride when my son disrespected me. But that day, seeing my granddaughter cleaning a bathroom while the other children enjoyed privileges that I had paid for, I understood something terrible. I had raised an abuser, and my silence had fueled him for years. Michael was always difficult, but when Maya was born, I thought fatherhood would change him. His first wife, Maya's mother, had died in an accident when the girl was just 3 years old. I prayed to heaven that my son would be a good father to that innocent creature who had lost her mother so young. Then came Veronica, a calculating woman who married Michael knowing I had money. She arrived with her 2 sons, 10-year-old Aiden and 8-year-old Ethan, and from the very first day, she made it clear who the favorites in that house were. My suspicions began when I noticed Maya was always quiet, always scared, always trying to go unnoticed. But what I saw that day surpassed my worst fears. "Why is my granddaughter cleaning while they watch television?" I asked, trying to control the fury boiling inside me. Michael looked at me with contempt, as if my question were stupid. "Because she has to learn responsibility. The other boys already did their chores." A lie. I could see the dirty dishes on the table, toys strewn all over the living room, school backpacks abandoned on the floor. But Maya, my 6-year-old granddaughter, was the only one forced to clean. "She's a child, Michael. She should be playing, not working like a housekeeper." Veronica appeared from the kitchen, drying her hands on a towel. Her fake smile failed to hide the venom in her eyes. "Oh, Carol, don't exaggerate. The girl needs discipline. Her mother spoiled her rotten before she died." The insult to the memory of Maya's late mother was the straw that broke the camel's back. But I contained myself, knowing what I was capable of doing. That night, when I returned to my apartment, I couldn't sleep. The images of my granddaughter sobbing repeated in my mind like a nightmare. Then I remembered something I had kept secret for years. When Michael asked me for help to buy that house, I didn't just give him the money. I had financed it in my name. The house had been in my name from the beginning, but I never told him. I wanted him to feel independent, to believe he had achieved something on his own. What a huge mistake that act of generosity had been, because now my son was using my own house to torture my granddaughter, and I had the power to stop him. That night, I made a decision that would change our lives forever. The next day, I returned to the house earlier, but this time I didn't ring the doorbell. I used my copy of the key that I had kept since the construction. What I found shattered my soul and confirmed my worst suspicions. Maya was in the kitchen, standing on a chair to reach the dirty breakfast dishes in the sink. Her small hands trembled as she tried not to break anything. At the table, Aiden and Ethan were calmly finishing their sugary cereal, watching videos on Veronica's phone. Michael was reading the newspaper as if he were the king of his castle. "Hurry up, Maya, or we'll be late for school," Veronica yelled from her room. "And don't forget to pack your brother's lunchboxes." Brothers. That word wounded me like a knife. Aiden and Ethan weren't Maya's brothers. They were the spoiled sons of a woman who had turned my granddaughter into her personal servant. I stayed hidden, watching. Maya prepared the lunchboxes with quick, nervous movements. When she put more ham in Aiden's sandwich than in Ethan's, the younger one complained. "Mom, Maya gave me less food than Aiden again." Veronica came down the stairs like a fury. Her bright red dress contrasted with the hateful expression on her face. Without a word, she snatched the lunchbox from Maya and emptied it into the sink. "You're useless. You can't do anything right. That's why your mom died, because she couldn't stand having such a stupid daughter." Maya's silent crying broke my heart. Michael continued reading his newspaper as if nothing was happening, as if his own daughter's tears meant nothing to him. Now you'll have to buy something from the school cafeteria, Veronica continued. Use your birthday money. Birthday money. The money I had given Maya the week before. These monsters were forcing her to use her own gifts to get by. I couldn't stand it anymore. I walked into the kitchen with determined steps. What is going on here? Everyone froze. Michael lowered the newspaper with a guilty expression. Veronica tried to compose a smile, but it was too late. I had seen everything. Carol, what a surprise. We didn't know you were coming so early. Clearly they didn't, because if they had, they might not have been torturing my granddaughter right in front of my nose. Michael stood up, trying to intimidate me with his height. Don't exaggerate, Mom. We're just teaching her responsibilities. Responsibilities? Maya is 6 years old, Michael. What are Aiden's and Ethan's responsibilities? An uncomfortable silence. Aiden and Ethan kept eating as if the conversation had nothing to do with them. They're older, Veronica mumbled. They have other obligations. Like what? Watching television? Playing video games? Because that's the only thing I've seen them do. Every time I come over. The tension in the kitchen was palpable. Maya had instinctively moved closer to me, seeking protection. Her small fingers clung to my skirt. Grandma, I don't want to go to school without a lunch, she whispered. Those words were like a hammer striking my final decision. I took out my wallet and gave Maya some money. Here, sweetheart, buy whatever you want at the cafeteria. Michael snatched the money from my hands. She doesn't need money. We take care of her expenses. You take care of her by forcing her to use her birthday gifts to eat? That's not true, Veronica lied, but her nervous eyes betrayed her. Isn't it true? Maya, tell Grandma where you got the money to buy food last week. My granddaughter looked at me in terror. She knew telling the truth would bring consequences, but she also knew that lying would be wrong. From the money you gave me for my birthday, Grandma. Veronica said I had to learn to manage my money. Michael exploded. That's enough. This is my house, and here, things are done my way. If you don't like it, you can leave. His house. How funny to hear those words come out of his mouth. Your house, Michael? Are you sure about that? Of course it's my house. I paid for it with my hard work. I smiled bitterly. It was time for him to learn the first of many truths he was about to discover. Your work, Michael. Son, I think there are some things you don't know about this house that you love so much. The confident expression on his face began to fade. Veronica grew nervous too. What are you talking about, Mom? I'm talking about the mortgage, Michael. The mortgage that has been in my name since day one. This house was never yours. It has been mine all these years. The color drained from his face. Veronica staggered and had to lean on the table. That's impossible. I signed the papers. You co-signed, son, but I was always the primary loan holder. I have all the documents to prove it. The kitchen plunged into a deathly silence. The only sounds were the ticking of the clock and the agitated breathing of everyone present. Why did you never tell us? Michael asked, his voice breaking. Because I wanted you to feel proud, to believe you had achieved something for yourself. But I see my generosity only fueled your cruelty. Veronica tried to regain control of the situation. Well, anyway, we've been paying the installments for years. We have rights. Rights? Rights to abuse a 6-year-old girl? To turn my house into a hell for my granddaughter? I took Maya's hand. Her small fingers clung to mine desperately. We're leaving, sweetheart. You're coming with me. You can't take her, Michael shouted. She's my daughter. Your daughter. The same daughter you forced to work as a housekeeper? The same daughter who cries every night because she's insulted and humiliated? I headed for the door, but Michael blocked my path. You're not taking Maya, and this conversation is over. It's my house, and my rules are respected. Your house, I repeated, pulling out my phone. Perfect. Then you won't have a problem with what I'm about to do right now? I dialed the bank's number. Michael and Veronica looked at me with growing terror. Good morning. This is Carol Peterson. I want to cancel the mortgage on the house located at. Hang up that phone right now, Michael screamed, trying to snatch the phone from me. But it was too late. The bank executive was on the other end of the line, confirming my identity and the property details. Mrs. Peterson, I understand you wish to cancel your mortgage. Are you sure about this decision? Once the process is initiated, there is no turning back. Completely sure, I replied, not taking my eyes off the terrified faces of Michael and Veronica. I want to cancel the financing immediately. I will not pay another installment. Veronica lunged at me, but I stopped her with an icy glare. What does that mean exactly? The executive asked. Do you wish to sell the property or transfer the loan? It means I'm canceling everything. The property can be released for the bank to do whatever they deem necessary. I am completely disassociating myself from the financing. I understand. In that case, the property will go into foreclosure. The current occupants will have a period of 30 days to vacate or reach a direct purchase agreement with the bank. Perfect. Send me all the documents by email. My address is… You're crazy, Veronica shrieked. You can't do this. We have children. You're right, I said, hanging up the phone. You have children, 3 children, but you only care about 2 of them. Michael had been struck dumb, processing the magnitude of what had just happened. His face alternated between disbelief and fury. Mom, this is insane. We can talk, reach an agreement. An agreement? Like the agreement to turn your daughter into a domestic servant? Like the agreement to let your wife insult the memory of Maya's mother? Aiden and Ethan, who had been silent until then, began to understand that something serious was happening. Mom, what does it mean we have to leave the house? Aiden asked. Veronica didn't know what to say. Her plans for a comfortable life were crumbling before her eyes. It means Maya's grandmother is a selfish woman who doesn't think about the consequences of her actions, she said with venom in her voice. Selfish? For protecting my granddaughter from abuse? For not allowing my own house to be turned into a place of torture? Maya was still clinging to my hand, but now there was something different in her gaze. For the first time in a long time, I saw a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Does this mean I won't have to clean the bathroom anymore? She asked in her trembling little voice. That innocent question was like a slap in the face to Michael. He finally seemed to realize the reality of what he had been doing. Maya, sweetie, you don't have to clean anything. That was just to teach you. To teach me what, Daddy? To teach me that I'm a useless little thing, like Veronica says? To teach me that's why my mommy died? The silence that followed was devastating. Michael looked at Veronica with accusing eyes. You told her that? You told her that her mother died because of her? Veronica became defensive. I never said that exactly. I just said. You said her mother couldn't stand having such a stupid daughter, I interrupted. I heard it with my own ears 5 minutes ago. Michael put his hands on his head. For a moment, he seemed to recognize the monstrosity of the situation. Veronica, how could you say something like that? It was a joke. Kids exaggerate everything. A joke? Calling a 6-year-old girl stupid is a joke? Forcing her to work like a housekeeper is a joke? Veronica's mask finally fell. Her true nature came to light. That girl needs discipline. Her mother spoiled her, and now she's a spoiled brat who doesn't want to do anything. My sons are polite and responsible. Responsible? When was the last time Aiden or Ethan cleaned anything? When was the last time they packed their own lunch? Veronica couldn't answer because the answer was obvious. Never. Your sons are spoiled brats who got used to having a 6-year-old slave, I continued. And you are an abuser who took advantage of an orphaned girl to have a free maid. You have no right to talk to me like that. I have every right in the world. This is my house, Veronica, my house. And in my house, children are not mistreated. Michael tried to mediate, but it was too late. The damage was done, and there was no turning back. Mom, please, we can change. We can do things differently. Change? After years of abuse? After turning your own daughter into a servant? I took out my phone again and started taking pictures. Pictures of the dirty dishes Maya had been washing. Pictures of the chair she had used to reach the sink. Pictures of her small hands, chapped from the cleaning chemicals. What are you doing? Veronica asked in a panic, documenting the evidence. Because this isn't over. Evidence of what? Of child abuse, of neglect, of psychological mistreatment. Michael paled. Mom, you can't be serious, can't I? Do you think I'm going to let my granddaughter continue to live in these conditions? Do you think I'm going to let you keep torturing her? I took Maya in my arms. She snuggled against me like a frightened kitten. We're leaving, my love. You're going to come live with me. You can't take her, Michael yelled. I'm her father. You're her biological father, but you haven't acted like one. A father protects his children. He doesn't turn them into slaves. I walked toward the door with Maya in my arms. Michael followed me, desperate. Mom, please, we can fix this. I promise things will be different. I stopped at the threshold and looked him in the eyes. In that moment, I saw the boy I had raised, the young man I had educated with so much love, but I also saw the man he had become, and it broke my heart. Do you know what's saddest about all of this, Michael? That your daughter is going to grow up remembering that her own grandmother had to rescue her from you. With those words, I left the house, taking Maya with me. Behind us, I heard Veronica's screams and Michael's pleas, but there was no turning back. The war had begun. That same afternoon, while Maya took a nap in my apartment for the first time in years, without the fear of being woken up to do chores, my phone didn't stop ringing. Michael called every 5 minutes, alternating between desperate pleas and veiled threats. Mom, you have to bring Maya back. Veronica is hysterical, and I don't know what to do. Learn to live with the consequences of your actions, Michael. You're my mother. You're supposed to support me. I'm your mother, not your accomplice. And I am definitely not an accomplice to child abuse. I hung up the phone, but it rang again immediately. This time it was Veronica. Carol, this is kidnapping. I'm going to call the police if you don't bring Maya back immediately. Go ahead, call the police. It will be very interesting for them to hear why a 6-year-old girl has hands chapped from cleaning chemicals. The silence on the other end confirmed that Veronica knew perfectly well that the law was not on her side. Besides, I continued, I have something that will interest you very much. I opened my phone's recording app. For weeks, I had been secretly documenting my visits to the house. I had recordings of Veronica yelling at Maya, of Michael ignoring his daughter's cries, of the other children laughing while my granddaughter was humiliated. What is that? Veronica asked, her voice trembling. Your voice telling a 6-year-old girl that she's useless, and that's why her mother died. Would you like the whole neighborhood to hear this? You were recording us? Of course. When a grandmother suspects her granddaughter is being abused, she takes precautions. And I have hours of recordings, Veronica. Hours. I hung up the phone and put it on silent. I needed to think clearly and plan my next moves. While I was making dinner for Maya, I reflected on the years of willful blindness. All the signs had been there. Maya's dark circles, her unusual silence, the way she flinched when someone raised their voice. I had seen them, but I had chosen to believe Michael's explanations. She's shy, he would say. She's grieving for her mother, he would justify. Kids can be dramatic, he would minimize. How foolish I had been, how blind and how cowardly. Maya woke up from her nap and came to me in the kitchen. Her big eyes still reflected distrust, as if she expected me to order her to clean something at any moment. Grandma, do I have to help you with dinner? No, my love. You just have to be a little girl. Play, laugh, learn, nothing more. She stood there, as if she didn't understand the concept of not having obligations. But, who's going to clean? I'm going to clean, Maya. Adults clean, children play. And if I don't clean well, will you punish me? Those words pierced me like daggers. I knelt in front of her and took her small hands in mine. Listen to me very carefully, my love. I will never, ever punish you for not cleaning. I will never yell at you. I will never call you useless. And I will never, ever allow anyone else to do so. For the first time in a long time, I saw a genuine smile on my granddaughter's face. That night, after putting Maya to bed, I called my lawyer. Samuel was an older man, experienced in family law cases, and had been a friend of my late husband. Carol, it's good to hear from you. How can I help? I told him the whole situation. The abuse, the recordings, the cancellation of the mortgage, my decision to take Maya. It's a complex case, Samuel admitted. Michael is the biological father, but you have evidence of neglect and abuse. The recordings are very valuable. Can I get custody? It's possible, especially if we demonstrate that the environment in Michael's home is harmful to the child. Has the girl expressed a desire to stay with you? Yes, but she's afraid to say it openly. I understand. We'll need a psychological evaluation of both the child and the family environment. I also recommend you document everything. Changes in Maya's behavior, physical evidence of abuse, testimonies from neighbors if there are any. The neighbors, I murmured. I hadn't thought of that. One of them might have seen or heard something, possibly. The house is in a small residential development. The walls aren't very thick. Perfect. Tomorrow we'll start the legal proceedings. In the meantime, document everything you can about Maya's physical and emotional state. After hanging up, I sat in my living room to plan. The legal battle would be long and painful, but I had no alternative. I couldn't let my granddaughter return to that hell. Around 10 o'clock at night, I heard noises at the door. Someone was trying to open it with keys. My heart raced until I remembered Michael had a copy of my keys from years ago. The door opened, and Michael stormed in like a hurricane, followed by Veronica. Their faces reflected desperation and fury. "Where is my daughter?" Michael yelled. "Sleeping, as a child should be at this hour, instead of cleaning bathrooms. Stop repeating that lie. Maya doesn't clean bathrooms." I took out my phone and played one of the recordings. Michael's voice filled the apartment. "Clean the bathroom properly, you useless little thing. And if it's not perfect, you'll go without dinner again." The silence that followed was deafening. Michael collapsed onto the sofa, finally confronting the reality of his own words. I didn't mean to say that. I was stressed from work, from the bills. Stress gives you the right to abuse a 6-year-old girl? Veronica, who had remained silent, finally exploded. "This is all your fault. You spoiled her. You put strange ideas in her head." Strange ideas? Like the idea that she deserves to be treated with dignity? That girl needed discipline, and you wouldn't let her have it. Discipline? Calling her useless is discipline? Comparing her to her dead mother is discipline? Michael lifted his head, his eyes filled with tears. "Mom, please, can we fix this? Veronica can change. I can change. How have you changed over the last 3 years? How did you change while I was paying for your house and you were turning my granddaughter into your servant?" Suddenly, a small voice came from the hallway. "Grandma, why are they shouting?" Maya appeared in the living room, rubbing her eyes. Upon seeing Michael and Veronica, she immediately hid behind me. "I don't want to go home," she whispered. "Please, Grandma, don't make me go." Those words were the final blow for Michael. He realized that his own daughter was afraid of him. "I don't want to go home." "Please, Grandma, don't make me go." Those words from Maya echoed in the apartment like a sentence. Michael was frozen, watching as his own daughter hid behind me as if he were a monster. "Maya, sweetie, I'm your daddy," he said in a broken voice, trying to get closer. Maya clung tighter to my robe. "I don't want to clean any more bathrooms. I don't want Veronica to yell at me. I don't want to be a useless little thing." Veronica completely lost her temper. "You see what you've done? You've brainwashed her against us." "Brainwashed her, Veronica?" "She's repeating your own words, the same words I have recorded on my phone." Michael knelt in front of Maya, but she hid further behind me. "Princess, Daddy didn't want to hurt you. Daddy loves you very much. Is that why you make me clean while Aiden and Ethan play?" Maya asked with devastating innocence. There was no answer to that question. Michael knew any justification would sound pathetic. "Maya, come here right now," Veronica ordered in her usual authoritarian tone. "Stop the drama." Maya's reaction was immediate. She burst into tears and hid completely behind me, her small body trembling with fear. "Veronica, that's enough," I exploded. "Can't you see she's terrified of you? Don't you realize the damage you've done? That girl is a manipulator. She's faking it to get your pity." Samuel had arrived without us noticing. He had used the key I had given him for emergencies. "Pardon the interruption," he said with professional calm. I heard the shouting from the hallway and was concerned for the miners' safety. "Who are you?" Michael asked, standing up. "Samuel Vega, Mrs. Peterson's attorney, and a witness to what I have just observed." Veronica turned pale, realizing that a lawyer had heard her yelling at a 6-year-old girl. "This is a setup," she muttered. "It's not a setup, ma'am. It's documentation of a pattern of abuse that is already under investigation." Michael turned to me with accusing eyes. "You've already started legal proceedings?" "Of course I have. Did you think I was going to let you continue to abuse my granddaughter? Samuel approached Maya gently. Hi there, little one. I'm Samuel, a friend of your grandma's. Can you tell me how you feel when you're at home with your dad and Veronica? Maya lifted her tear-streaked face. I'm scared. I'm always scared of doing something wrong and getting yelled at. And here with your grandma, how do you feel? Safe. I don't have to clean, and nobody yells at me. Samuel was taking mental notes of every word. Each of Maya's answers was additional evidence for our case. This is manipulation, Veronica shouted. You're putting ideas in her head. Ma'am, Samuel said firmly, I suggest you lower your voice in the presence of the minor. Everything you are saying can be used in the legal process. Michael finally seemed to understand the gravity of the situation. He sat down heavily on the sofa, his hands on his head. Mom, this is getting out of control. We just wanted Maya to be more responsible. Responsible? Michael. She's 6 years old. Her only responsibility should be to be happy. The other kids. The other kids are not your children, I interrupted him. Maya is, and you abandoned her to please a woman who hates her. Veronica became furious. I don't hate anyone. I just wanted her to learn discipline. Discipline is telling her that her mother died because she couldn't stand to have such a stupid daughter. Samuel raised his eyebrows. Even for an experienced lawyer, that revelation was shocking. Did she say that to the child? He asked, turning to me. I have it on tape, I confirmed. That constitutes severe psychological abuse, Samuel declared. It's enough to request immediate protective measures. Michael stood up abruptly. That's it. Maya, we're going home right now. As he approached us, Maya screamed with genuine terror. No, I don't want to go. Grandma, don't let me go. Her panic was so real, so gut-wrenching, that even Michael stopped in his tracks. Sir, Samuel intervened. As you can see, the minor is exhibiting clear signs of post-traumatic stress. Forcing her to return to an environment she perceives as threatening would be counterproductive. She's my daughter, and I'm her grandmother, and so far I'm the only one who has protected her. Veronica, desperate to regain control, played her dirtiest card. Michael, if you don't bring Maya home, I'm taking my sons and leaving you. Is that what you want? To lose your whole family over this spoiled little girl? The silence that followed was terrible. We all waited for Michael's response. That moment would define who he really was as a father and as a man. Michael looked at Maya, who was still trembling behind me. Then he looked at Veronica, who was waiting with her arms crossed and a defiant expression. Veronica? Maya is not spoiled. She's my daughter. And if you can't accept her as part of the family, then maybe what? Veronica challenged him. Maybe the problem isn't Maya. Maybe the problem is you. For the first time in years, I saw a glimmer of the man I had raised. But Veronica wasn't going to give up so easily. Fine. I'll pack my things and leave with my sons tomorrow. And when you're all alone, without a house, and without a family, you'll remember this moment. Without a house? Michael asked, confused. Samuel smiled with satisfaction. Ah, she didn't tell you. The bank has already initiated foreclosure proceedings on the property. You have 28 days to vacate. Veronica's face completely fell apart. Her plans to blackmail Michael crumbled as she realized she would lose the house too. That can't be legal, she stammered. It's completely legal, Samuel confirmed. Mrs. Peterson was the primary holder of the mortgage. She had the right to cancel it whenever she wanted. Michael turned to me with a mix of respect and terror. Mom, you've destroyed my life. No, son. You destroyed your life when you chose to abuse your own daughter. I just stopped being your accomplice. The following days were a whirlwind of revelations and consequences. Michael and Veronica had returned to the house that was in foreclosure, but the atmosphere had turned toxic. Without the power she derived from abusing Maya, Veronica directed all her fury at Michael. It's your fault, we lost everything, she would scream day and night, for not knowing how to control your mother, and that brat. The neighbors started talking. Brenda, who lived in the house next door, came to visit me with information that chilled my blood. Carol, I have to tell you something. For months, I heard screaming and crying, but I thought it was just normal kid tantrums. What kind of screaming, Brenda? a little voice saying, "I can't, it's too heavy." Or, I'm sorry, I won't do it again." Now that I know what was happening, I feel terrible for not intervening. Did you hear anything else? Yes. About a month ago, I heard Veronica yell at someone. "Your mother died because God got tired of seeing how useless you were." I thought she was on the phone, but now I understand she was saying it to Maya. Every testimony was another stab in my heart, but also crucial evidence for the legal case. Meanwhile, Maya was flourishing in my apartment. In just 1 week, her transformation was remarkable. She smiled more, played without fear, and for the first time in a long time, acted like the 6-year-old girl she was. "Grandma, can I help you cook?" she asked me one afternoon. "Of course, sweetheart, but only because you want to, not because you have to." "What's the difference?" That question broke my heart. A 6-year-old child shouldn't know the difference between wanting to help and being forced to work. The difference is that when you want to do something, it's fun. When you're forced, it's scary. "Oh, then I want to help you because it's fun to be with you." The legal process moved forward quickly. Samuel had requested a temporary restraining order to keep Maya in my care while the permanent custody was being resolved. The judge, after reviewing the recordings and testimonies, agreed to a temporary order. Michael attempted one last desperate maneuver. He came to my apartment one night, alone, his eyes red from crying. "Mom, Veronica left. She took her kids and left me. I'm alone in that empty house, just waiting for the eviction day. I'm sorry, Michael, but decisions have consequences. I know I was wrong. I know Veronica manipulated the situation, and I was a coward. But Maya is my daughter. Let me fix things." How do you plan to fix 3 years of psychological abuse? With time? With patience? With love? "I can change, Mom. I can be the father Maya deserves." I looked at my son, the man I had raised with so much love, and I saw both the child he had been and the failure he had become. "Michael, do you know what your biggest mistake was?" "What?" "It wasn't letting Veronica abuse Maya. It was actively participating in that abuse. It was becoming her accomplice. But I never. You yelled at her to clean the bathroom. You called her a useless little thing. You allowed her to use her birthday money to eat. Don't just blame Veronica." The silence stretched between us. For the first time, Michael seemed to truly understand the magnitude of his mistakes. "Is there any chance you can forgive me?" he finally asked. "Forgiveness is between you and your conscience, Michael. But Maya's custody is between the judge and the evidence." The next day, something unexpected happened. Michael posted a video on his social media, a video that would change the entire course of events. "My name is Michael Peterson, and I need to confess something that is killing me inside," the video began. "For the last 3 years, I allowed my wife to abuse my 6-year-old daughter. Not only did I allow it, but I participated in that abuse." My phone started ringing immediately. It was friends, neighbors, acquaintances who had seen the video. "There are no excuses for what I did," Michael continued in the recording. "My daughter Maya was turned into a housekeeper in her own home. She was forced to clean, to cook, to serve other children while being insulted and humiliated." Tears streamed down his face as he spoke. "My mother, Carol, tried to protect Maya, and I treated her like she was a meddler. I now understand that she was the only responsible adult in this whole situation." The video went viral within hours. The comments were devastating for Michael, but they also showed massive support for Maya and me. How horrific. How can anyone treat a child like that? The grandmother is a hero for saving her granddaughter. That man doesn't deserve to be a father. Thank God that little girl has a grandmother to protect her. But more worrying comments also arrived. People who had recognized our address, who wanted to help in unsolicited ways. Samuel recommended that I temporarily change my residence for safety. "Michael's video was brave, but also dangerous," he explained. "You are now public figures. You need protection." That same afternoon, while I was packing some things to move temporarily to a hotel, Maya asked me a question that left me speechless. "Grandma, does my daddy still love me?" "Of course he loves you, sweetheart. He just got very confused and made some very bad decisions." "Is that why he made the video? To say that he loves me?" "I think so, Maya." I think he finally realized his mistakes. Does that mean I have to go back with him? The question I had been dreading finally arrived, and I didn't have an easy answer. I don't know, my love. A judge who knows a lot about what's best for children will decide that. And if the judge says I have to go back, then you will go back, but I will always be there watching over you. You will never be alone again. Maya hugged me tightly, and in that embrace, I felt the full weight of the responsibility I had taken on. Not only had I rescued my granddaughter from abuse, but I had unleashed a media storm that could have unpredictable consequences. But as I felt her small arms around my neck and listened to her calm breathing, I knew I had made the right decision, even if the price was the complete destruction of my family. The viral video from Michael unleashed a media storm that none of us had anticipated. In less than 48 hours, journalists were camped outside the building where we were temporarily staying. News channels wanted exclusive interviews. Social media was filled with hashtags like Justice for Maya and Hero Grandma. But the threats also came. Women who defended Veronica, claiming I had exaggerated the situation. Men who attacked Michael for betraying his wife. The hotel phone rang constantly with calls from reporters, television producers, and people offering to tell our story. "Grandma, why are there so many people outside?" Maya asked, peeking through the hotel window. "Because the story of what happened to you became very famous, my love. A lot of people want to know about you." "Is it bad to be famous?" "It's not bad, but it can be complicated. That's why we're going to stay here for a while until everything calms down." Samuel arrived that afternoon with news that left me cold. "Carol, we have a problem. Veronica has hired a lawyer and is fighting back." "How is that possible?" "We have all the proof. Her strategy is smart and dangerous. She's saying that you manipulated the whole situation to take the granddaughter away from Michael, that the recordings were edited, and that Maya was coached to lie. That's ridiculous. The recordings are authentic. We know that. But she's using Michael's video as evidence that he was pressured by you to confess something he didn't do." Veronica's audacity left me speechless. After years of abusing an innocent child, she was now playing the victim. "There's more," Samuel continued. "Veronica is giving television interviews. She says Maya was a problem child, a liar, and needed special discipline. She also claims you manipulated her against her from a young age. That same night, I saw Veronica's interview on the evening news. She was perfectly made up, dressed in a pink outfit that made her look maternal and vulnerable. Maya was a very difficult child from the moment I joined the family," she said with tears in her eyes. "She had lost her mother and channeled her pain by hurting others. My sons lived in terror of her tantrums." "Tantrums," I muttered, feeling indignation rise in my chest. "Carol never accepted me as part of the family," Veronica continued. "From the first day, she tried to sabotage my relationship with Michael. She filled Maya's head with lies about me." "And the recordings where you're heard abusing the child?" the journalist asked. "Those recordings are edited. They were taken out of context. Carol is a very intelligent woman and knows how to manipulate technology." "Liar!" I shouted at the television. Maya approached me, worried by my reaction. "Is it true what Veronica is saying, Grandma? Was I bad?" I knelt in front of her and took her small hands. "Listen to me carefully, Maya. You were never bad. You are a good, smart, and loving girl. Veronica is lying because she's afraid of going to jail. Can Veronica go to jail? If the judge decides that what she did to you was very bad, yes. And my daddy too?" That question broke my heart. I didn't know how to explain the complexities of the legal system to a 6-year-old. "I don't know, my love. But I am going to make sure that you are never hurt again." The next day, Samuel arrived with more bad news. Veronica's lawyer has requested an emergency hearing. He wants an independent psychologist to evaluate Maya to determine if she's been manipulated. And is that bad? It could be complicated. If the psychologist determines that Maya was influenced by you, it could affect our case. But Maya is telling the truth. We know that, but 6-year-old children are vulnerable to suggestion. Veronica's lawyer is going to argue that the girl is only repeating what you taught her to say. That afternoon, I received a call I wasn't expecting. It was Michael. "Mom, I need to see you. It's urgent." "What happened?" "Veronica threatened me." She said that if I don't retract my confession and declare that you forced me to lie, she's going to sue me for defamation. And what did you tell her? To go to hell. But I'm scared, Mom. Her lawyer says he can prove I was under emotional distress when I made the video. Michael, do you regret telling the truth? I regret taking so long to tell it. Then stand firm. The truth always comes out. There's something else. Veronica hired a public relations firm. They're going to launch a media campaign to destroy your reputation. What kind of campaign? They're going to say you're a vengeful woman who destroyed a happy family out of jealousy, that you manipulated Maya against us from a young age, that you canceled the mortgage out of spite. Let them say what they want. I have a clear conscience. Mom, don't you understand? These people know how to manage public opinion. They can turn you into the villain of the story. That night, browsing the internet, I found the first articles of Veronica's smear campaign. The headlines were devastating. Manipulative grandmother destroys family over jealousy. The truth behind the Maya case. A vengeful woman. Experts claim the child was coached to lie. The comments on social media began to change. People who had supported me before were now questioning my motives. What if the grandma is lying? Something doesn't add up in this story. Grandmothers can be very toxic when they don't get their way. Poor Veronica. They destroyed her life for nothing. Maya noticed my sadness as I read the comments. Are you sad, Grandma? A little, my love, but don't worry. Is it because people are saying mean things about you? How do you know that? Because Aiden sent me a message. My blood ran cold. Aiden wrote to you? How? On the tablet. He says his mom is going to make them put you in jail for being a liar. I took the tablet and saw the message. It was not only cruel, but it revealed that Veronica was using her own children to intimidate Maya. Maya is coming home soon, and she's going to pay for all the lies she made up, the message read. In that moment, I knew the war had escalated to a dangerous level. Veronica didn't just want to win the legal case. She wanted to destroy me completely. But she had underestimated my determination, and she was about to discover that when a grandmother fights to protect her grandchild, there are no limits to what she is willing to do. The threatening message from Aiden was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was time to go on the offensive. For days, I had endured Veronica's media attacks, watching as she tried to turn me into the villain of a story where she was the real abuser. But using her own children to intimidate Maya crossed a line I could not tolerate. Samuel, I need you to organize a press conference, I told him on the phone that morning. Are you sure? Veronica's campaign is working. It could be dangerous to expose yourself more. That's precisely why I need to speak. People are only hearing one side of the story. What do you have in mind? To show all the evidence, the complete, unedited recordings, the neighbors' testimonies, the medical evidence of Maya's chapped hands, everything. That afternoon, while preparing my presentation, I received an unexpected call. It was Patty, another neighbor who had lived near the house. Carol, I saw that woman's interviews on television, and I couldn't stay silent. I have something that might help you. What is it, Patty? Videos. I have videos from my security camera where you can see the little girl cleaning the yard while the other children play in the pool. My heart raced. Videos? Why didn't you show them to me before? Because I didn't know they would be important. But when I saw that woman saying it was all a lie, I checked my archives. I have recordings from the last 6 months. Can you bring them to me? I'm on my way. When Patty arrived at the hotel with a flash drive, my hands trembled as I saw the images. There was Maya, just 6 years old, dragging a hose bigger than she was to water the plants while Aiden and Ethan splashed around in the pool. In another video, the little girl was seen hanging clothes on the line, standing on an unstable chair that almost made her fall. This is pure gold, Samuel murmured when he saw the recordings. Veronica won't be able to deny this. There's more, Patty said. In this video, you can hear when Veronica yells at her from the window. We turned up the volume and clearly heard Veronica's voice. Maya, move that lazy butt. If you're not done by 5, there's no dinner. What time was this recorded? Samuel asked. At 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. A 6-year-old girl working in the sun while the other kids are in the pool. The press conference was scheduled for the next day. Samuel contacted the main media outlets, assuring them they would have access to never-before-seen evidence. That night, Michael came to the hotel. He looked destroyed, with deep dark circles and wrinkled clothes. "Mom, Veronica is going crazy. She says if I don't declare that you forced me to lie, she will destroy you completely. Let her do what she wants, Michael. I'm not afraid anymore. But I am afraid of what might happen to Maya if this gets out of control." "Now you're worried about Maya? Where was that concern when you were forcing her to clean bathrooms?" Michael collapsed into a chair, defeated. "You're right. I'm a coward and a bad father, but I want to change. I want to make things right. Then tomorrow, you will be at that press conference supporting me. You will confirm every word I say. And if Veronica follows through on her threats? Michael, what's the worst that can happen? I lose my reputation? People hate me? I've already lost my family. I've already lost my peace of mind. The only thing I have left is my granddaughter, and I will fight for her until my last breath." The next day, the hotel conference room was packed with journalists, cameras, and onlookers. Samuel had prepared a flawless presentation with all the evidence organized chronologically. "Good morning," I began, trying to control my nerves. "My name is Carol Peterson, and for the last few days, many lies have been spread about me and my granddaughter. Today, you are going to know the whole truth." I started by showing the first audio recordings where Veronica was clearly heard abusing Maya. Then, I played the videos from the security cameras. The silence in the room was absolute. "This is my 6-year-old granddaughter, working as a housekeeper while other children in the same house are playing," I explained as I projected the video of the yard. Some journalists shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Others scribbled notes frantically. "Why did you take so long to intervene?" a reporter asked. "Because I believed my son's excuses. Because I thought I was exaggerating. Because I didn't want to see the reality," I answered honestly. "That is my biggest mistake, and I will have to live with it forever." "Is it true you canceled the mortgage on the house out of revenge?" another journalist asked. "I canceled the mortgage because my money was being used to maintain a house where my granddaughter was being abused. I was not going to be an economic accomplice to abuse." Then came the most difficult moment. Samuel played the recording where Veronica told Maya that her mother had died because she couldn't stand having such a stupid daughter. The effect was immediate. Several journalists exchanged horrified looks. A female reporter brought her hand to her mouth, visibly shocked. "Those are the exact words that Veronica Ruiz said to my 6-year-old granddaughter," I declared. "Can anyone explain to me how that is normal discipline?" At that moment, Michael stood up from the back of the room. "I want to confirm every word my mother said," he declared with a firm voice. "I allowed that abuse. I participated in it. And now I will do everything I can to repair the damage." The murmur in the room grew. The camera flashes intensified. "Mr. Peterson, are you saying your viral video was spontaneous?" a journalist asked. "I'm saying my video was overdue. I should have spoken up years ago. I should have protected my daughter from day one." A journalist raised her hand. "Where is Veronica Ruiz now?" "Probably watching this conference and preparing more lies," I replied. "But it doesn't matter what she says anymore. The truth is here, documented, recorded, and undeniable." At the end of the conference, journalists approached with more questions, but I had already said everything I needed to say. That night, the main newscasts opened with our story. The hashtags changed from number manipulative grandma to number justice for Maya and number Veronica Ruiz abuser. The comments on social media completely turned in our favor. "How dare that woman deny the evidence? Those videos are devastating. Poor little girl, the grandmother is a hero. She saved her granddaughter. Veronica Ruiz should be in jail." But I knew the war wasn't over yet. Veronica was cunning and vengeful, and women like her never go down without a fight. The press conference had completely changed the public narrative, but Veronica wouldn't give up so easily. 2 days after the irrefutable evidence came to light, she attempted her most desperate and dangerous move. It was a Sunday morning when Samuel called me urgently. "Carol, Veronica has kidnapped Aiden and Ethan. She disappeared with them last night and left a threatening note." "What does the note say?" "That if you don't drop all the lawsuits and hand over Maya, Michael will never see his stepsons again." My blood ran cold. A woman capable of abusing an innocent child was perfectly capable of using her own children as human shields. Where could she be? The police have already issued a national alert, but you know Veronica better than anyone. Where do you think she might hide? I thought quickly. Veronica had mentioned her brother several times, who lived in another state, a man just as toxic who had always unconditionally supported her. Call the police and tell them to look at Enrique Ruiz's house, Veronica's brother. He lives in a small town in Ohio. While we waited for news, Michael arrived at the hotel, completely distraught. Mom, this is my fault. If I hadn't made that video, Veronica wouldn't have gone crazy like this. Michael, Veronica was already unhinged. Now she's just desperate. And if she hurts Aiden and Ethan, she's not going to hurt her own sons. She loves them, in her toxic way, but she loves them. She's using them as her last card. What are we going to do? Wait, and trust that justice will work. 3 hours later, Samuel received the call we were waiting for. The police had found Veronica at a country house owned by her brother. Aiden and Ethan were fine, but Veronica had barricaded herself inside and was threatening to harm herself if anyone approached. She wants to talk to you, Samuel told me. She says she'll only negotiate with Maya's grandmother. Is it safe? The police negotiators will be present, but you're not obligated to do it. I looked at Maya, who was playing peacefully on the hotel bed, finally free from the fear that had dominated her life for years. I'll talk to her. It's time for this to end, once and for all. The drive to Ohio felt eternal. During the trip, I mentally rehearsed what I would say to Veronica. I couldn't show weakness, but I also couldn't provoke her into hurting those innocent children. The country house was surrounded by police cars and ambulances. The lead negotiator briefed me on the situation. She's on the second floor with both boys. She's threatening to jump out the window if anyone comes up, but she agreed to speak with you on the phone. I took the phone with trembling hands. Hello, Veronica. Carol. Her voice was hoarse, desperate. Look what you've done. You've destroyed my life. You've destroyed my family. Veronica, you destroyed your own life when you decided to abuse an innocent child. That girl hated me from day one. She was constantly sabotaging me. Veronica, she was 3 years old when you came into her life. She was a baby who had just lost her mother. Lies. She was manipulative from a young age. You trained her to hate me. I took a deep breath. It was useless to reason with her, but I had to try for the sake of Aiden and Ethan. Veronica, Aiden, and Ethan are not to blame for any of this. Let them go, and we'll talk, just you and me. They're my sons. They're the only thing I have left after you destroyed everything. No one is going to take them from you if you let them go right now. Liar, they'll take them away from me just like you took Maya from Michael. Veronica, listen to me carefully. If you hurt those boys, you will go to prison forever. If you let them go now, we can reach an agreement. What kind of agreement? I looked at the negotiator, who gave a slight nod. I will drop some of the charges. I will allow you to see your sons with supervision. But you have to surrender right now. And Maya? Maya stays with me. That's non-negotiable. The silence on the other end stretched for eternal minutes. Veronica, are you there? Aiden wants to talk to you, she finally said, her voice breaking. Hello, Mrs. Peterson. I heard Aiden's frightened little voice. My mom is crying a lot and says it's all Maya's fault. Aiden, sweetheart, none of this is Maya's fault. Your mom is just very confused. Is it true that we did bad things to Maya? That question broke my heart. Aiden was 10 years old and was finally understanding the reality of what had happened. Yes, Aiden, you did bad things, but you were little and you didn't know it was wrong. I used to laugh when she cried. Does that make me bad? No, sweetheart. It makes you a child who was misguided. But you can change. You can be better. Will Maya forgive me? Maya has a very big heart. But first, you need your mom to let you both leave that house. Mom, I heard Aiden say to Veronica, Mrs. Peterson says Maya can forgive us if we say we're sorry. Give me that phone, Veronica yelled. Carol. Her voice had changed. It sounded defeated. Can Maya really forgive us? Sylvia, Maya is a 6-year-old girl. Her heart is full of love, not hate. But first, you have to let your sons out of there. And then what? Do I go to jail? Possibly. But your sons will remember that in the end, you did the right thing. Another long silence. Carol. Yes. I really thought I was doing the right thing. I thought Maya needed discipline. I know, Veronica, but abusing a child is never the answer. Can you? Can you tell Maya that I wasn't always bad? That in the beginning, I tried to love her? For the first time in this whole process, I heard something resembling genuine remorse in Veronica's voice. I'll tell her, Veronica. But only if you do the right thing now. Okay. I'm coming down with the boys. 20 minutes later, I saw Veronica walk out of the house with Aiden and Ethan. Holding her hands, the boys ran toward the paramedics, while Veronica surrendered to the police without resistance. When our eyes met, I saw something in hers that I hadn't seen before, the acceptance of defeat, and perhaps a glimmer of understanding of the damage she had caused. 6 months later, the judge ruled in my favor in the custody case. Maya would stay with me permanently, while Michael would have supervised visits on the weekends. Veronica was sentenced to 2 years in prison for child abuse and an additional year for the kidnapping of her own sons. Now, as I write this story, Maya is in the backyard playing with her dolls, laughing as a 7-year-old girl should laugh. Her hands are no longer chapped from cleaning chemicals. Her eyes no longer reflect fear, but curiosity and joy. Michael comes to visit her every Saturday, and he's attending therapy. Slowly, very slowly, he is learning to be the father Maya always deserved. Aiden and Ethan are living with Veronica's sister, who turned out to be a more stable woman than we expected. They come to visit us once a month, and little by little, they are developing a healthy relationship with Maya. Grandma, Maya says to me as we have dinner, do you think Veronica can be good someday? I don't know, my love. But I hope she learns to be better. I wrote her a letter in jail. I told her I forgive her because Aiden asked me to. My granddaughter, at 7 years old, already has more wisdom and compassion than many adults. And what did she write back? That she's learning in jail that children shouldn't work like adults and that she's sad for making me cry. That night, after putting Maya to bed, I reflect on everything we went through. I lost my son for a long time. I destroyed my family relationships. I faced public scrutiny and a media war. But I saved my granddaughter. I gave her back her childhood, her dignity, her right to be loved unconditionally. I don't regret financing that house that I later took back. I only regret not understanding sooner that kindness should never be practiced at the cost of self-destruction, and that protecting an innocent child is worth any price, even the destruction of everything you thought you knew about family love. Some battles are not fought for revenge. They are fought for love. And true love, the kind that protects and dignifies, always finds a way to win.